Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty LIV, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Kool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. Once again, it is a fine and wonderful Tuesday. With that being said, it's time once again for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, you've seen a whole lot of orange. Usually, LIV, he represents the Clemson Tigers with his orange on. Scottie D has got up and left the set. I don't know why, but shows a little bit of kneecap there. But the money man Scottie D, he also has on a Clemson Tiger t-shirt too, and according to him, it is our year.
This is our year.
Hashtag, in the words of the almighty LIV, who is we? But enough of my incoherent but yet entertaining rambling. I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, a befuddled, a bewildered, and
stunningly handsome.
And stunningly handsome, the almighty LIV.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today?
That is not your slogan.
It's our slogan.
What? Hey, wait a minute. Well, what's happening? Why? Tell me why do you have a Clemson shirt? What's happening? And what's really going on in the world today? What? Please.
This is our year.
Just Eddy Kool, just introduce him and let him explain this. I got nothing. Just go ahead. Just do your show. You allowing this? I want answers.
For the first time in the history of the Sports Bros Podcast, our 170 plus episode history of the Sports Bros Podcast, the almighty LIV is at a loss of words. Introducing the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the assistant athletic director at the Trinity High School. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
E-L-E-M-S-O-N. Woo! It's our year. It is college football season officially. We saw some college football this past week, but our Clemson Tigers, all roads lead to Dabo. Yes, sir. Coming up. It is time, baby. It is time.
I got to get this on gallery view because LIV is having a whole lip sandwich right about now. Just chewing all kind of lip. You need some salt and pepper and mustard for that lip, boy, because you just chewing the hell out that lip.
The audacity. Like what? Okay, no, I'm still waiting on an explanation. When did you get the shirt?
Oh, when did I get it? Oh,
yes.
I used to wear this years ago at overtime on college football Saturdays.
Who made you this way?
It's our year, baby. I'm with you. You should be happy. It's our year.
Last time I checked, I don't speak French. So this ain't no we. This is our we out. What?
Hey, did you guys see House of the Dragon? That show is off and running, man. We are cooking House of the Dragon.
Have not seen it.
Oh cool. Man, good episodes. All right, let's talk a little football. Let's talk sports here. Let's regroup. LIV.
Put your Pitt shirt back on.
Well, you didn't seem to like it, so.
No, I was fine with it. I just you were doing your thing, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my jersey on. It's college football, but ooh. Eddy Kool, I'm gonna need your Amtrak. Something.
All right. Oh, at the request of the Almighty Be Live, I'm going to Amtrak this thing and hop.
The order.
And I'm going to hop right into it. The top of the order. Fellas, all the preseason games have been played. In the next few days, I think they said a whopping 842 players are going to get cut from their respective teams. Ouch. Yeah, that's a whole lot. Yeah. Everybody's having their fantasy draft. Matter of fact, we're having our draft tonight as we speak. If you listen to this podcast, we ain't got no more spaces in the Sports Podcast Fantasy Football League because everybody came back like bad breath in the morning. Fellas, let's talk some AFC, some NFC. Who we like, who we don't like, and some surprise teams. Be Live, I'm going to start with you first. Let you kind of talk and get yourself together.
All right, so now that we're back to some sense of normalcy, this is going to be quite the year. Like right now, all talks of everything that's going on in NFL is all West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
AFC West and NFC West are loaded, with the exception of Seattle. Sorry about your luck, but man, we're going to be watching a lot of West Coast football this year. Man, oh man, like top to bottom, the AFC West is the strongest in all of football. And in the NFC West, they have the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions. And then you got San Fran that they're going with Trey Lance, and they made moves, and they're doing some things. There's a lot to talk about in the West.
They're saying Jimmy G's going to be there this year, though. They're not getting rid of him
as a backup.
That is the new report.
Yep, I saw. They restructured his contract. So did he just take a pay cut? He was scheduled to make $20 million.
I think they did. I think they did restructure his contract, and I think 6.8 was a number that I saw.
I'm gonna do a little bit more research because that was breaking news as of like 6:30 p.m. Monday, right before we started recording. So that's gonna be interesting within itself. Now here's the $1 million question: who is going to be the top quarterback that reigns supreme in the AFC West? You've got Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. I don't think ever in the history of the NFL have you ever had a loaded division with top tier quarterbacks. Each one of them easily could be in the top 10 in football. I don't see any argument against that. I think now Derek Carr's got weapons, and he's about to show people who he really is. Now, that's where I'm going to be looking at. Of course, I'm going to be looking at my Panthers to see what spark does Baker Mayfield bring to this team. Breaking news just a couple hours ago, a trade with the Jaguars. We got another weapon at wide receiver. Was it Shenault?
Yeah, Laviska Shenault Jr. from the Jaguars.
So, man, I'm excited to see how he fits in. That's a trade right before the regular season. So, how quickly can he pick up the playbook, and how effective can he be? But man, Carolina's got weapons, so I'm curious to see that. I'm curious to see how bad the Cowboys are going to be this year. I'm curious to see how many times Aaron Rodgers is going to be tripping on ayahuasca this year. Is he going to win MVP for the third straight year? We shall see. At the end of the day, after all of the AFC West, all of the NFC West, I see it's going to be interesting to see who's going to reign supreme in both of those conferences. Scottie D, what is most intriguing to you, sir?
That division probably is. It's probably going in the most exciting to watch. I'm going to be intrigued to see how the Buffalo Bills respond with the favorite label being slapped on them. Everybody's picking them this year. And honestly, so am I. I think that they're primed and ready to go. Now, if things go according to plan, I think their quarterback is going to be the MVP of the league this year. I think Josh Allen is going to be the MVP. I think Buffalo can finally overcome the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been weakened a little bit through the offseason. No guarantee the Chiefs even win their division. That's a tough division. They're a Patrick Mahomes injury away, and it doesn't have to be a major injury. If the guy pulls a hamstring and misses 4 games, that might be enough to cost you the division. You know what I mean? It might not a season-ending injury might not cost them the division because there's not going to be a lot of room for error in that division. So for that reason, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win the AFC West. I think they're going to win it. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely picking the Bills to win the AFC East. The North, I got to go Bengals again. I don't think that's a big shock just because they're the defending AFC champions. The Steelers are, they're requesting a quarterback, but if they have if it is Kenny Pickett that plays well, they should be competitive again. I'm not ready to write them out of the playoff picture altogether, and we'll see how the Ravens do. Lamar Jackson seems to be hitting the injury phase of his career, getting nicked up a lot. Without weapons, he takes upon himself to run a lot. And then the AFC South, I think the Colts are going to upset Tennessee and take their spot this year. I think we saw a little bit of Derrick Henry hitting his injury spell last year. He missed a lot. He missed almost the entire season last year. So you conceivably he should have fresh legs, but the guy's taken a lot of hits through the years. He's the sole focal point of that offense. They're surrounded by him. I think the Colts have a good enough defense. They plug in Matt Ryan instead of Carson Wentz, and I think they have enough to win that division. So that's who I'm going with in the AFC. The Raiders, the Colts, the Bills, and the Bengals. Those are my 4 division winners.
All right, so let's see. Since we're doing that, there's something about the Chargers, man. I see something special about the Chargers between having Bosa and also having Derwin James at cornerback. Also, who else did they get? They got Khalil Mack, who's still, a threat on defense. And then you got Justin Herbert doing what he does, and Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield. So I picked them to win that division. I think Kansas City regresses this year. Let's see. In the South, Scottie D, I'm with you. I also say the Colts because I think having Matt Ryan will be a difference. The defense is stout, and they always do what they're supposed to do. The North, the Bengals, because the Bengals still have everybody coming back, and they're the most complete team in that division. But, you can't sleep on Pittsburgh. Baltimore, we don't know what we're going to get out of Baltimore. And then the Browns, well, we still don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with them. That leads me to the East. Give me Buffalo. And I think did I touch all the divisions?
Yep.
Yeah, North, South, East, West.
We differed on one.
Which one?
I went with the Raiders. You went with the Chargers.
Okay, that's what I did here. All right, fellas, on the NFC side of things, what's intriguing? Who we got? Who's going to take a step forward? Who's going to take a step back? Scottie D, what you think?
Well, I'm going to start with my own division, and everybody is now seemingly on the Eagles bandwagon. I'm not really sure why. I understand that like most people, that the Cowboys definitely going into the season seem to be a weaker team than the way they finished last season. Losing Amari Cooper, losing Cedric Wilson, Lyle Collins is gone, Tyron Smith is out hurt again. So there's some inexperience at the wide receiver position. But I think the Cowboys can regress down to a 9-win team and still win that division. So I'm gonna pick the Cowboys barely over the Eagles in that division. I still like the Packers. I think they're gonna regress in the North a little bit, but I don't. There's not good enough quarterback play coming out of Chicago or Detroit and Minnesota with the new coach. They could pose some problems. Could be the Vikings and Packers vying for that division, but I'm going to stick with Aaron Rodgers, even though he admits to being a liar at this point. He did. He fessed up, which he didn't have to because we already knew. I'm sticking with the Buccaneers still in the South. Sorry, Panther guys. I don't think you're quite there yet to compete. I don't think you will disagree much with me there. And I got to go Rams again because I think the Rams are going to go back to the Super Bowl again. I think they're going to win their division. I think the 49ers, I mean, if Trey Lance is as good as advertised, they could be right there in that mix. That's a question. We haven't seen them in any like meaningful competition yet. So I'm going to go with the guy that helped turn the Rams franchise into Super Bowl winners last year. I'm going to pick them again. Not going out on a limb there. Not a crazy daring pick, but I think it's a smart pick. The Super Bowl in the preseason, that worked out for me. I'm picking them to do the same again this year, just because I don't see another team in the NFC that is ready to knock them off. I think Tampa Bay is going to regress. At some point, Tom Brady's got to start looking older, right? I mean, he actually retired and said, "I'm going to come back." I think Tampa with the new coach there. I don't know. I don't think any team is going to be strong enough to compete with the Rams. And Sean McVay to me is still brilliant, and I'm going with those guys. B-Live, what do you think in the NFC?
I'm gonna be controversial. I like doing that. I slept on this, and I've been thinking about it all day. In the NFC East, I'm going to be on that bandwagon. I'm jumping on that bandwagon, and I'm going to say it's the Eagles. And the only reason why is because Dallas is going in the wrong direction. I don't see any improvement. Yes, they won 12 games last year, but they've regressed. So they don't have any. Dak doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. I don't see any improvement on the offense. I think their offensive line has gotten weaker. Jerry Jones still believes in Zeke Elliott for whatever reason. Please explain that to me. When will they actually give the ball to Tony Pollard? Tony Pollard is your more dynamic running back. Why is he not leading this team? I don't care who's get paid, whatever. Tony Pollard is your option. That's who you should be running your offense to. But that's just me. The NFC South. I'm going 100% complete fanboy with this. I'm sorry. I've tried my best over the past couple of weeks. I've tried to curb my enthusiasm. I'm like, man, but I feel something in the air. You're absolutely right about the Buccaneers regressing. I think there's too much off the field stuff with Tom Brady right now. There's just too much between Miami,
something's up. Yeah,
something. There's way too much going on off the field. Yes, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, but I just think I honestly believe that his focus is elsewhere.
Not to mention the issues with his O-line too.
Yeah, the interior part of your O-line. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm sending house every single. I don't care.
Gronk's gone. His security blanket's gone.
He's gonna be on his back. I don't care what anybody says, and it's gonna wear on him. I'm going fanboy. I think Carolina's defense is vastly improved. I think if they stay healthy, I think Carolina will have a top 5 defense this year. I see it all across the board. They're hawks. They're ball hawks out there. They're gonna go after the ball, and then that's gonna give us short field. And Baker Mayfield maybe he's that lightning in a bottle. I'm picking the Panthers. I'm picking
coming around to Baker. He came around to me and Baker.
I'm picking the Panthers to win the division because we've made an improvement at quarterback.
That's adorable. That is adorable.
Shut up. Anyway.
How about the NFC West? How about the NFC West?
The NFC North. Let me get there.
Okay, North.
I'm gonna give you a prediction. I think Kirk Cousins performs better than Aaron Rodgers this year.
Okay.
You like that?
I think Justin Jefferson will be your top wide receiver in the NFL.
Okay.
I hope so.
I think he saw what Jamar Chase did last year, And he's like, hold on, little buddy. They must have forgot who I am.
Watch this.
I think that combination. Here's the one thing that's going to be make or break for Minnesota. If Dalvin Cook stays healthy, if he stays healthy, Minnesota will top Green Bay this year. So I'm picking the Vikings, and I'm right there with you. The Los Angeles Rams. And they're the same team that they were last year. They lost OBJ, got Allen Robinson. They Von Miller. Who did they pick up?
Not Khalil Mack. I'm sorry. Who did they pick up on?
They pick up somebody. I can't remember. But you still got them boys. You still got Aaron. You still got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, they're gonna be perfectly fine. And I think to be honest with you, I think Allen Robinson is an upgrade from OBJ. I'm telling you that I think they're the same team that won the Super Bowl. So I'm picking the Rams in the NFC. I'm throwing my AFC picks as well. I'm gonna blow your mind with this one. I'm going Bills, Ravens, Jaguars, and Raiders. I'm picking Jacksonville.
What?
I'm picking Jacksonville to win their division. I think they've made a lot of moves in the offseason. They plugged some holes that they had, and I want to see Doug Peterson do some magic. I think Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I think that's magic. I think that Urban Meyer just plainly sucks.
Yeah.
I think that Doug Peterson will have them boys playing. And again, the division itself is whew. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in that division. Matt Ryan is up there in age. I think he'll do something. But I honestly believe that the Jaguars are going to shock some people this year. I'm picking the Jaguars to win their division. Overall, I see the Bills versus the Rams in the Super Bowl, and I see finally, after so many failed attempts, I see the Buffalo Bills bringing home the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Okay, solid.
So,
we agree on that one too.
Yep.
Who did you say in the West? You took the Raiders.
I took the Las Vegas Raiders. I just think they're.
That's crazy. The three of us, none of us picked the Chiefs.
I'll tell you why I didn't pick the Chiefs. It's too much going on in Kansas City because there's no Tyreek Hill. You got Marquez Valdez-Scantling kind of catch the ball when I want to. Juju, Mr. TikTok Corvette. I don't know what the hell's going on in the backfield between Isaiah Pacheco, Ronald Jones, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he can't seem to stay healthy all of a sudden. And I don't know. I mean, the only surefire thing that's there in Kansas City right now is Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. But there's only going to be so many times that he can really lean on Travis Kelce. So with that being said, my turn to pick the NFC. Let's see. NFC East. I think the Eagles do a little something. It's going to be. I think the Eagles will do a little something. Let's see. In the South, B-Live, I would love to pick the Panthers. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. A team that nobody's really talking about in the South, the New Orleans Saints.
Don't you do it. Not the Aints.
You know it ain't the damn Falcons.
Of course not. They're going to be horrible this year.
Spoiler alert. We see Desmond Ritter, week 5. You're here on the Sports Bowls podcast. So the Saints are going to surprise some people this year because they get everybody healthy. And if Michael Thomas can return to the Michael Thomas, then the division's in trouble. And then we still got Alvin Kamara battling his off-the-field situations. So there's East, West, North. The NFC North is going to be a 2-race team between the Packers and between the Vikings. So I'm going to have to roll with experience on that side and say the Packers because if he's not high off ashwagandha root and acts like he give a damn, Aaron Rodgers just might make it happen. And on the West, the Rams because Seattle's downgraded. DeAndre Hopkins is out 6 games in Arizona. We don't know what's going on with that whole situation. And then San Francisco, they got a whole quarterback conundrum with we're going to trade Jimmy G, but we're going to start Trey Lance. No, we're going to sign Jimmy G. He's going to take a pay cut, and he's going to be a backup to Trey Lance. And so this I'm going to need Trey Lance to show improve this time around. And also with San Francisco, their running back by committee situation, I don't know what's going on. And their defense is solid, but I don't think it's solid enough to overtake the Rams.
Let me ask you guys a quick. Actually, go ahead, Eddie. On your who you going to pick at the end? Us two both took Bills and Rams. Amazingly, we both agreed on that.
Let's go 3 for 3, Bills and Rams.
Okay, there you have it. All right, now let me ask you guys on the flip side, who's going to be picking number 1 next year in the draft?
Ugh.
Ooh, that is a 3-headed horse. That's a 3-headed horse. I mean, I think we all can agree we're talking either Atlanta, Houston, or Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle's made it perfectly clear that that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. Like they've not made it a secret, even though there's like anti-tanking, blah blah blah, whatever. They have not kept it a secret that they are going for. They're going for a quarterback next year. Yeah. And regardless of whatever's going on, they've made zero improvement. But here's the thing. I'm going to look at the quarterback situation and then their defense. Atlanta can never stop a nosebleed. I've never seen Atlanta stop a nosebleed. Houston, I don't know what's going on with their organization, nor do I really care. Seattle, they haven't been the same since they didn't feed Skittles Beast Mode from on the second goal from the 1. And the Legion of Boom is gone. In my heart of hearts, I'm going to go with what the toughest division. I think Seattle's going to be with the number 1 pick next year because they got to face the Cardinals twice, the Rams twice, and the 49ers twice, and that's 6 losses right there. I forget. Are they affiliated? Who are they affiliated with? Do they have to face AFC West opponents
this year?
I'm not sure right off the hand.
I'm not sure. I just feel like
it doesn't matter. They wouldn't be if they're facing Division 1. They've got problems. They got problems. I was actually going to pick Seattle till you reminded me of how bad Houston is. I can't even name anybody on Houston. I don't know one player on the team right now. And who's their head coach again?
Lovie Smith.
Lovie, that's right, Lovie. Okay.
All right. So let's see. We talking about
that's a disaster.
Yeah, we talking about Houston. Let's see. We got Nico Collins, somebody named Pierce, Davis Mills with his extendo neck.
Isn't Brandon Cooks their like lead wide receiver?
Yeah, he's still there. You want to talk about a struggle last 1,000 yards? Good God. Ugh.
I'm going Houston. I that's my number 1 pick. But I think Seattle's got a good crack at it. I think the Lions are improving a little bit. The Commanders got an outside shot at it too, I think.
Oh, B-Live, to answer your question about Seattle playing the AFC West, October 23rd, they play the Chargers in LA. Where are we going here? They play the Raiders at home. They play the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Yeah, they're done.
And the last game of the season, they play the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams. So B-Live, you said that's 6, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That might be their best chance of the win.
Because they're gonna sit the starters.
Because right.
Yeah, because they're gonna sit the damn starters, and that's it. That's the best. That's about their best and only chance to win. Other than that, let's see who the Seahawks play. They play the Jets. They play the Panthers. We're gonna walk the dog. That's a West Coast game. B-Live. Let's see. They play the Panthers. Let's see. They play the Giants. That'll be a dub for them. They might go 1-15-1 this year. Is it possible? I'm just saying, man. Yeah, for the Seahawks, man, it's not looking too good. Nothing personal, Seahawks fans, but welcome to what I like to call the rebuild. So we all got our Super Bowl picks in and everything, fellas. Oh, be live.
Hey, watch out for week 3. That is going to be huge implications on who's going to have the number 1 draft pick. Because you're going to have a juggernaut of a fight. It's going to be massive. It's going to be the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons. Oh my God. It's going to be pandemonium. I'm going to watch that just for pure entertainment. That right there is probably going to tell us who is going to end up with the number 1 draft. Oh,
good.
Very well. That's going to be ugly. But hey, I'm looking at their schedule. I see 2 wins at best for Seattle. They might, and then again, them it really ain't even 2 wins I can really see, because who knows what the Jets are going to do? The Jets have improved from all of everything I've heard. They've improved, and so they got the Jets, they've got the Lions, they've got the Falcons. The Falcons. And they got the Giants at some point in time as well. Those are the 4 games I see that they have a chance of winning. The other one's not even close.
I think they're gonna tie one this season too. They're gonna tie one for some strange reason. They're gonna tie one. Watch Seattle go out there and play good and make us look real silly. But you know, when you're mad,
I'm being mad.
Hey, when you're right, go ahead, be live.
I was saying December 11th. You want to plan a West Coast trip? I've been wanting to go to Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's nice. All right, with that being said, that's it for the NFL for this time. But on the next episode, we're going to talk some more about the NFL. A whole lot more. Coming up next on the Sports Bros podcast, we got the FedEx Championship, the PGA, LIV Golf. I don't know what's more heated rivalry than that. That or Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. Talking about some golf. Coming right back after this. All right, welcome back to the Sports Bros podcast. And before I left, I was talking about the PGA, the FedEx, LIV Golf. Did somebody fight? Did somebody swing a club and break somebody's nose? I don't know what was going on because I was working, but in the group chat, it was very engaging between the Money Man Scottie D and the Almighty B Live. For those of us that don't know what the hell was going on, fellas, can you please tell us?
Well, first of all, the FedEx Cup actually was really exciting. This playoff that came down to this past weekend has that kind of weird format where, based on the point system going into the final few weeks of the season, Scottie Scheffler had a 2-stroke lead over who was behind him. Schauffele, I believe, was the next one back, and however they had it staggered. But it came down on Sunday to Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy. Sungjae Im was right there in the mix. Schauffele went on a par binge and kind of faded out of contention, and it really came down to those 3. You got to kind of feel for Scottie Scheffler because, to me, other than the LIV Golf story, as far as competitor-wise, Scottie Scheffler was the biggest story in golf this year. This is a guy who a year ago was just another guy on the tour, and this year he's the top player in the world. He's won multiple tournaments, including a major. He's been right around the leaderboard weekend after weekend. He's been fun to watch, actually. I mean, he's an exciting golfer, and his shot sort of deserted him a little bit on Sunday. He tends to hit the ball a little bit of a fade quite often, and everything was just staying left on him, and it was just a grind for him this weekend. Yet, there on the 18th hole, only down a shot, Rory McIlroy left the door open for him that if he could get up and down out of the sand, he still would have had a birdie attempt to force a playoff, and it just wasn't his day. He ran it past the hole and didn't, was unable to make the move. And Rory McIlroy was the champion. And Sungjae Im was right there too. He was in the clubhouse, only a stroke behind, and had these guys messed up on that final hole. He was ready. He was ready to pounce. He had a great day too. I think, didn't he have a big bogey on like the 15th, 16th, somewhere in there well? That
he had a double bogey.
A double bogey. Okay.
He had a double bogey. That if he bogeys that, we got a playoff.
Right. So that's the oldest fate.
Yeah, I was like, because he was tearing it up on the back nine. I'm like, hey, fellas, you need to watch out for this Sungjae M guy.
Yeah. And he almost made his birdie putt on 18, which would have again, he was just one stroke away. Having said all that, you know, Justin Thomas was in the hunt, Xander Schauffele was in the hunt. These are the heavyweights. These are the big boys on the PGA Tour. And I did not miss Brooks Koepka or Dustin Johnson or Sergio or Phil. I didn't miss any of those guys. I didn't feel like there's anything missing from this tournament. Because with the PGA, you never know anyway. The PGA, there's always a guy who you don't expect to be in the mix on a Sunday afternoon. It's in the mix. It's not always just the guys whose names we know. There's always somebody that makes a name. Or lingers around. A guy like Tony Finau for years was just, you know, rising. And he got a couple wins this year. You know, we were on Finau watch last year because we're like, we like this guy. He's always close, but he never wins. And now he does. He's broken through. And Jordan Spieth has had a resurgence. He's back in the mix of things this year. It was a fun year on the PGA Tour. On the course, this other stuff sucks. I hate this other stuff because it's taking away from how good the PGA really is. And now the PGA has a big divide. And there are talented guys. Just because we didn't miss them doesn't mean that they couldn't have been in there and added something to this tournament. Cam Smith won the last major championship of the year, and he didn't play. He was, I think, because of injury. I think he wasn't going to play anyway, but he has defected nonetheless. He's gone. He's a LIV guy now. And that's going to affect the President's Cup coming up in, I think it's 4 weeks. That some of these guys are not going to be able to participate in the President's Cup on both sides. And I hate that. I've been saying all along how much I hate this. I hate the divide in golf. But when it comes time to plant your flag, I'm rolling with the PGA because I didn't feel like that made any. I didn't make the tournament more watered down. It didn't make the event feel less of an event. And it's kind of fitting that the guy who seemed to be standing at the forefront, most vocal, other than Tiger Woods, was Rory McIlroy. And at the end of the man waving the flag for the PGA won the last event that, gives him the championship. So I guess we're going to keep having to talk about LIV Golf, even though I don't really want to, because I'm happy with the PGA. And I like that they're making some changes. And it's funny, one of the guys, and I forget who it was, one of the guys who already defected, was kind of mocking the PGA last week, saying, "Oh, well, they're kind of copying the LIV Tour format." Well, you know what? Their hand was forced to make changes, so they're doing it. Okay, good for them. At least they're not completely sticking their head in the sand. They're acknowledging that there's another entity out there that they have to, acknowledge. And they're giving the guys more money and making more events, like these events that they're going to have next year are for like the elite golfers, not just the entire tour. And it is going to do some things that's going to make it interesting and different. So, So there, LIV Golf. I don't want to watch you. I'm not going to watch your event next week. And I hope you don't get a TV deal. I know you will, but when you get it, I'm not going to watch anyway because I don't have time because I'm already watching the PGA and pro wrestling. Be live to you.
Did you just nana?
I sure as hell did. Yes,
he did that.
The hell? God. All right. Well, I'm glad we are not professionals. Man, Scottie D, get off of your high horse when it comes to the LIV Golf Tour. I don't understand. This is what I'm gonna do for you. Yes, we talked about the FedEx Championship. Scheffler had a six-stroke lead. What happened? God, man. And Rory McIlroy essentially right now is the face of the PGA. He's the one that's taking on the mantle. He's putting up the fight against the LIV Golf Tour. My biggest thing is this: why is it a fight? It doesn't have to be a fight. If the PGA Tour would just allow their players to play in both tours, as opposed to, oh no, they're banned. Why? Give me a good reason why the PGA decided to ban these players. These players asked to play in these other tournaments. Why are they exclusive to the PGA? It's not like other professional sports like basketball, baseball, football, where you're contractually obligated. These are independent contractors that the PGA Tour is like, well, shoot, well, if you're not playing just for us, then you can't play for us at all. What?
But would the NFL lend the USFL their players whenever the USFL is trying to compete with them? This is a league they're trying to compete with the PGA. Why would you allow them to have their elite players?
The NFL is contractual. These players are contractually obligated.
I got it. But what if they weren't? What if they weren't?
Well,
would you as the NFL want your players going to play for a competing league?
I wouldn't. You wouldn't want them to, but what could you hold them? How could you hold them to? They're not. There's a huge lawsuit about this. What gives the PGA the right to say, "Hey, you're no longer allowed to compete for the because you went and did an invitational over here and made a little extra money on the side."
Well, that was already a rule that was in place. You had to sign waivers. You had to get clearance to be able to do that. And these guys did not do it. So they
asked the PGA for permission. The PGA said
no. Right.
Again, why? You have not given me yet because here's the thing. I would understand.
I just did give you a reason. I would not want to give somebody my elite players. I wouldn't. If I'm owning a restaurant and a sports bar, perhaps, and a sports bar open across the street, I wouldn't say, well, here, take my better servers and you try to take some of my business. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that.
Here's the thing. Are they employed by the PGA?
In a sense, they are, because they're on their events. And they're on their
in a sense. No, they qualify for the they qualify for the events. We're
talking semantics at this point. But you're asking why would you, if you're the PGA, why would you not want that to happen? That is why you're not going to want somebody to take your best talent to compete against you.
They're not compete. See, it's the thing. Initially, if you really break it down, the LIV Golf Tour isn't competing against the PGA. They're actually giving the players what they wanted to start with. Hey, if as a member of the PGA Tour, I'm a card-carrying member, why do I go to these tournaments and walk away with nothing?
They don't walk away with nothing.
Oh, if you don't make it past Friday, you make nothing.
You still make money. You still make money.
Where? Not from the PGA.
You don't make LIV money, but Monahan has flat out said that we can't compete monetarily with them.
But here's the thing. That was one of the things that was there's been a fight for a long time where the players were like, hey, I'm going to these tournaments. I'm traveling. That costs money to get there. It costs money to get in, or it costs somebody money. Usually most PGA players are sponsored by somebody, but it costs money to get into these tournaments. And then for them after 2 days, oh, you didn't make it. You win nothing. You don't get paid by the PGA if you miss the cut. That's it. Your purse is $0. So we could go off on an entire tangent on that. What the PGA should have done is that these guys want to play an additional tournament here. They want to play an additional tournament there. They can still be your feature players in your major championships. Golfers now don't play every tournament. So why?
What you're saying is allow them to play whenever they're not playing a main event, just to make that league bigger and better and better, and then they get their TV contract, and now they will be competing head to head against me.
I don't see it that way. But here's the thing.
But that's a reality. That's what would happen.
Competition is good for the soul, and I'm actually going to make an argument for you, Scott, because you made something very compelling, and I did like this. You said that we didn't miss those players that went over to the LIV Golf Tour. You're absolutely right. Because you know what? Golf is one of those beautiful sports that from your top of the world to number 200, they can put up good scores. They from time to time. All it's going to do is that your your scores may go down 2 strokes or up 2 strokes. So where like the winner would shoot 16 under, they now will shoot 14 under. You're still going to have the same level of competition. I think we've seen it before our very eyes. Cream still rises to the top. And I think as players defect to go over to the LIV Golf Tour, you're going to see these up and comers that we may never have heard before. They're going to start showing up in the top 10 of these tournaments, and they're going to make a name for themselves. Golf is one of those beautiful things that the level of competition is going to be there because there's only but so many strokes on a golf course. There's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be that big of a divide between number 1 and number 64 or whoever makes the cut. It's still going to be competitive. We're still going to watch. I just think the way the PGA went about it, I think is wrong. It could have been beneficial to both, but now it is a competition. And LIV is, and right now, as the players leave and go over, yes, we're as Americans, we have like right now, I'm looking on ESPN right now on their website. They don't mention a thing about LIV Golf because you know what? Their money is with PGA. So guess what? I have to go to a different source to find out about LIV Golf, et cetera, et cetera. PGA is going to be fine. But it could have been, the PGA could have been better if they'd allowed these players as opposed to say, you know what? We're done with you. Wipe my hands.
Well,
at the end, yeah.
Oh, well, from the outside looking in, we've had this conversation before. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Competition is good. Competition is good because, matter of fact, like I said before, and I'll say it again. You remember how WWE was running it down their legs, and all of a sudden WCW came with a whole edgier product, and WWE was like, "Oh, well, we got to step up." So I mean, competition forces you to step your game up, and has it worked for the PGA? Yes, it has. Like you said, there's another entity. So with another entity, we really got to step our game up. We really have to step our game up. And then there's reasons why people like LIV, and there's reasons why they don't. But but that's your right. You like what you like, you follow what you follow, and you do what you do. With that being said, fellas, I would look at my watch, but I think my watch quit on me, and I got like a farmer's tan. But with that being said. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? Time for Scottie D to take that orange from underneath his shirt when we go on this break. I can still see it because it's ridiculous. But besides that, I digress again. God, like I love orange, but I don't want it on him. Like, so you've had this shirt for over a decade.
Several years. I don't remember exactly the day and time I bought it, but it's been a while. Yeah, I've had it for a while.
Why?
I like to wear different college t-shirts when I was at overtime.
Nobody ever says that. Nobody does that.
I'm an enigma.
You an enigma something.
Oh man, with that being said, it is time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices, because you almost took the train and put it in the woods. And with that being said, hey yo button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming right back. Orange shirts and all coming right at you. I might bust out an orange shirt. That's a lie. We'll be right back.
That's a whole lot. You bet not.
That's a dime lie. We'll be right back.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You guessed it, the choices of the voices. Scottie D, I leaned back from the mic this time, so that way I wouldn't blow your eardrums up. Choices of the voices. You know how we do it. We ask you questions. Y'all give us the answers. We talk about it. Good, clean fun, and pure entertainment. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
All right, at the behest of LIV, who spur of the moment came up with this idea last week, we asked, which owner would you like to see excused, 86, ousted, fired from the NFL, from their team? And it was actually a really good excuse for me to post that picture of Mark Davis that I absolutely love, because Mark Davis is like the best looking man in all of sports with his hair. No better hairdo out there than the Mark Davis hairdo.
Between Mark Davis and Kevin Durant, y'all have way too much money to have your hair this bad. That's
Mark did anyway, but that was a great excuse to put the Mark Davis picture up. And we did have a few answers, but it seemed like it was pretty heavy towards one. So Eddy Kool, talk to me.
All right, so here we go. We got our boy Joey Buckets, Joe Gafkin. He said, "You already know, Daniel Snyder." Yeah. Daniel Snyder. All right.
We feel you.
That's all we're not a Commander Skin football team fan. Even we know it's time for him to get his ass up out of there. Mark Olds, he says Jerry needs to go bye-bye or let someone else run the operation. So that's one for Jerry Jones, one for Daniel Snyder. All right. Jeffrey Dean, he said, I don't pay attention to other owners or management staff, just the Pittsburgh teams. The rest of them suck in my eyes. Well, you include Nutting in that group. Scottie D, who is he referring to?
Bob Nutting owns the Pirates, so he went straight to the source of the problem here in Pittsburgh. The Rooneys are fine.
Yeah.
They're cool. Everyone likes the Rooneys, but everybody wants Nutting out of here. So he hopped the line over into another sport, but good answer nonetheless.
Yeah. How does the pulse of Pittsburgh feel about Acrisure Stadium?
They hate it. Everyone's like, I'm still calling it Heinz. Yeah. I'm not changing. And there's a theater here, an outdoor venue called the Star Lake Amphitheater, and it came around back probably in the early 90s. And it's popular. It's out of town here, maybe like 30 minutes out of town. And through the years, it has had different names, different sponsors taken over. And now I believe it's called Star Lake Amphitheater again. But everybody around here says, it doesn't matter. I called it that anyway, and that's what I'm going to do with this stadium. I'm still calling it Heinz Field. I never stopped saying Star Lake Amphitheater, and I'm never going to stop saying Heinz Field. So that's that's how they feel about that. So anyway,
I understand. Carry on. All right, we got Kathy Natchheim. She says, Captain Kangaroo plays football.
That's a reference to the Mark Davis hairdo.
I figured it. I was like, you know what? It got to be about that damn hairdo. I got you. Good one, Kathy. All right, he's Brady. He says, oh, Jerry got to go. He has taken a dynasty and turned it into the joke of the NFL. Time to pass the ball, buddy. He dismantled 2 Super Bowl winning teams, and they haven't won anything since the 90s. He's the only remaining factor. He's got to go. So 2 for Jerry Jones. All right. Matt Uliski, he says, Jerry Jones, definitely dude, has been a menace to the league for way too long. But tell Mr. Davis that haircut has to go too. So 1 for the haircut. Yeah, 1 for the haircut. And 3 for Jerry, if you're keeping the score. All right. For some strange reason, Anthony. No, I'm joking. All right. Anthony Wilson, he says, I would say Mark Davis. Okay. I think he has a lot of pressure just based off of who his dad was. Plus, it's like the Raiders haven't done anything in so long. Cowboys too, but we know Jerry Jones probably won't go anywhere anytime soon. All right. Can't dispute that unless you get into unless you get Vince McMahon. But anyways,
I don't know why Mark Davis needs to go because he's got pressure on him. They're headed in the right direction especially after what happened last year. They're headed in the right direction as opposed to some of these owners out here. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Big Mike Clarity, he said Jerry needs to go. Just go ahead and retire. The glory days of the 90s have come and gone. He should just focus on traveling the world on a super yacht. He has done far enough on the business side of adding to the Cowboys brand, which is true. All right. Friend of the show, JR Speaks, he says, Jerry Jones and the whole Cowboy organization. We know why he said that.
The whole organization.
Everybody.
Just take Jerry Jones and $8 billion to just throw it all away.
Yeah. Woo. Put it all in the river. All right. Corey Turner, he says Daniel Snyder. All right. Craig Burns said all NFL owners should be forced to have the Mark Davis hairstyle. Even the good ones? Even the ones that win? Thomas Hovis, he said definitely Jerry Jones. And he said F the whole state of Texas.
Not
be
the
honest with you.
whole
The
state.
whole state. Holmes don't want a
Hey.
damn thing to do with Texas. I don't know what happened, but he said F the whole state of Texas. Ugh.
Man.
Yeah. Wow. My homeboy Jamal Moultrie. Yes, Jamal Moultrie from Georgetown. He said definitely Jerry Jones' old ass. He's trapped in the glory days of the 90s. And rounding up, Martin Tracy said, just because I know some good friends that are Washington football teams fans, I'm going to have to go with Daniel Snyder. All right. With that being said, shout out to Joey Buckets, Mark Olds, Jeffrey Dean, Kathy Nightsheim. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Heath Brady, Matt Uliski, Anthony Wilson, Mike Clarity, J.R. Speaks, Corey Turner, Craig Burns, Thomas Hobus, Jamal Moultrie, and Martin Tracy for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. Scottie D, who has to get the hell out of Dodge? What say you?
Well, the Jerry Jones thing is jumping off the page at me. There's like, I think I counted 7 out of like 10 or 11, something like that, answers. Let me say this about Jerry Jones that I heard somebody say, and I kind of disagree with. I don't think Jerry Jones has been bad for the league. I think he's actually been very good for football. The guy's an incredible, brilliant businessman and marketing, strategist. But as the general manager and owner of the Dallas Cowboys, boy, do I want him to go. Whoo! I've been saying this for a long time. Actually, I wouldn't even mind him as owner if he would fire himself as the general manager. That would be okay with me. The owner isn't the problem. It's the general manager that's the problem. But the owner and general manager being the same guy he's clouded up here. He's goofed. He's goofed. He's still high off of the 90s. And the thing is that infuriates Cowboys fans is that he still won't put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. And that just shows you that Jerry Jones doesn't care about his fan base as much as he cares about his ego, because it would be very important for Cowboy fans. They love Jimmy to put him up there in the Ring of Honor next to Tom Landry and the playing legends. This man brought you 2 Super Bowls in the early 90s, and Jerry doesn't want to acknowledge that. And he just says, it's just not something I think about a lot. I'm going to get around. Well, think about it, because everybody's been on your butt about it for a long time. So do it. And you kept Jason Garrett around way too long, and we wanted him gone a long time ago. So you don't care about us, and you're the worst owner in sports. So goodbye. Be live.
I did this on purpose because I knew it was going to bring a lot of wrath upon. I knew what the answer was going to be. I knew what the answer was going to be, and I'm just going to tell everybody you're flat out wrong. Jerry Jones is not the worst owner. You hit the nail on the head. He's the worst general manager.
Yep.
He's the worst GM, and if he's too much of it in his own way to realize that he makes money, he is a very successful NFL owner.
Yeah.
So that right there now, and it's just he's getting in his own way. So I won't say he needs to go as an owner. He needs to go as a general manager. Get somebody in there that can correctly analyze talent.
Well, it's
build
been
a team
26
together.
years, so it's a little late in the game for that. But
Time's a ticket, partner.
Yeah.
But now let me get back to where I need to be at, because everybody, y'all just all y'all said, we use the majority of just 2 or 3 people. Ain't nobody got nothing wrong with Robert Kraft. His old creepy tail. He need to be gone from life. Like it's like
wow.
God. You not only did he have a 39-year-old girlfriend, which is creepy within his own self, then you gotta nope. But my overall answer, I had to mention Robert Kraft just because he's in the penalty box. He should be the one that shall not be named. But I'm just going to say it for dexterity. But really, overall, come on. There's nobody worse in this league as an owner than Daniel Snyder. Like, tell me one good thing he's done as the owner of the Washington Redskins football team no-name Commanders. I'll wait.
Didn't he hire a girl to do something in the organization?
See, there you go.
And he hired-
I wasn't
hired-
going.
He hired a brother as a president, so he's coming along.
Like,
But see, I'm biased here because since he's bought the team, they haven't
they haven't
been
done
very
anything.
good. Yeah,
They've been terrible, which has been beneficial to
for the
the
Cowboys.
Giants, the
Yeah,
Cowboys,
yeah.
and the Eagles.
yeah.
Because they have done nothing. They haven't done anything since Mark Rippon and Art Monk. Yo, what's going on?
And
They finally
and
found
Doug
lightning in a
Williams.
bottle. Right, that was before them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they almost had lightning in a bottle with RG3. I'm still didn't like that because they thought he was the next Cam Newton. Yeah, really though? Come on, bro. He had one good season, then got hurt, and now he's taking over Randy Moss's job. How dare him? But Daniel Snyder, bro. I mean, they not only are the Redskins football team no-name Commanders have the lowest attendance rate in all of NFL, but their fans don't show up, home or away. It's a disaster of a franchise. It's even worse than the Texans.
Oof.
They're worse than the Texans because the Texans just suck altogether. I don't even who is their owners again? Because I'm sick of him too.
McNair family.
They need to.
Bob McNair.
They need to go somewhere for where they did Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson did that to himself too.
Yeah.
He did something. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm wearing the Clemson jersey. All roads lead to Dabo, but bro, come on, man. Come on, bro. But yeah, they need to go too. But really, Daniel Snyder, they've done. Even the Texans have done something. They've had glimpses of grandeur in the past since they've been a franchise. The Washington Commanders, they won their lone division playoff appearance. They were below 500. Even then, they were terrible. Like, what has Daniel Snyder actually done for the team?
Nothing.
Can we get Gibbs back? Can we get him as an owner because he's a great NASCAR owner?
Yeah.
He knows how to. Dan Snyder's got to go.
And even when Joe Gibbs came back as a coach, they were pretty decent.
I like him.
He's like he likes Daniel Snyder just because the Commanders suck.
I would like him. I would like him too. Just like we love Arthur Blank, don't we? Be like,
yes, we do. You notice I didn't mention him at all. Yep. Please, Arthur Blank, keep doing what you do.
Doing what you do, baby. Keep on doing what you do. Don't be mad. But yeah, I'm with you. Be like, man. Somebody got to give Daniel Snyder a bunch of money just to go home and sit down somewhere, because between the allegations and mishandling of players and withholding the fans' money and getting involved with the SEC, not the football conference, but the government people, it's just and the success rate. I mean, you've had Shanahan, and you've had the other Gruden, and it's just Riverboat Ron. It's just a carousel of coaches, and it's not a good look. And as a story of the franchise that is the past like 20 plus years, like people are like, oh, the Browns are bad. Hey, try being a Washington football team skin Commander fan. Try being that. I mean the Browns. Joey, I get it.
Joey Buckets, I feel bad for you, Joey Buckets. I really do.
I get it. I'm sweating. I'm aggravated just talking about the Washington football team because a team with so much history, pride, and prestige. Here we go. And Scottie D is sitting back smiling. And I am not mad at him none whatsoever.
Well, I was a little surprised at your answer, Eddie, because I thought for sure you were going to stick to the region and go with Jimmy Haslam, because the Browns have been a mess since he's taken over, which was in 2012. They're 44-94-1 under his ownership, and completely botched this whole Deshaun Watson thing this year with all the guaranteed money and all that stuff. It's been a mess in Cleveland since he's been there. So he'd have been another good candidate, but Daniel Snyder, Jimmy Jones, or Jerry Jones have ruled the day here.
Yeah,
if we ask this question to the NFL owners right now, Jimmy Haslam would be number one on the list. Probably. I guarantee you he'd be number one. Especially who owns the Ravens? I don't know who owns the Ravens, but I guarantee you whoever they are, they definitely don't like Jimmy Haslam, because now Lamar Jackson wants Deshaun Watson money and nobody wants to get that contract. Nobody wants to give that contract. Like, what were they thinking?
It's
guaranteed $230 million guaranteed to. Oh my goodness, that's my boy. That's my boy.
It's Steve Bisciotti. Steve Bisciotti.
He's good. I'm telling you, NFL owners are like, "Yo, bro, Jimmy, what are you doing?"
Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this week's Choices of the Voices. Thank you for participating. And with that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week? What we got?
All right, we're gonna talk a little college football and ask, excluding your favorite team. Actually, let me.
Just stop! Don't you stop it! Stop it!
This is going on YouTube. This is going on YouTube.
What college football team do you find yourself rooting for that's not your own team because you like the coach? What college football coach makes you root for him even though he's not the coach of your favorite team? So that means we can't pick Dabo because he's our favorite. He's our favorite coach of our favorite team. So we can't be like you and I can't pick Dabo. So there you have it for next week. Looking for your favorite coach from not your favorite team. Who makes you root for him? What college football coach do you like? And that'll give us something to talk about. Actually, we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Let me catch my pressure points. Woosah. Well, how was it? 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
You know who I like?
What the heck?
My Pat Narduzzi could be my answer. I like Pat Narduzzi. He could be my answer.
The fighting Pat Narduzzi. Ladies and gentlemen,
I can't stand you.
It's been another edition of Choices on the Voices. If you see this on YouTube, share, comment, show us love, because this is for damn sure.
They're not even gonna understand it listening to the podcast. They're gonna have to watch it on YouTube.
EMSO. And
Choices of the Voices next week. Coming up next, we got a Round of Pepper. And baby, please don't sneeze and get the nasty boogers on me. Round of Pepper coming right up. Cheer up, Be Live. It ain't the end of the world.
Try not to cuss.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, it's a round of pepper, baby. Rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. Here to engage, enlighten, entertain, and educate. And whatever you do, please, baby, do not sneeze on me.
Before we get into this, fire Scottie D. Fire him.
Why?
I don't know the Commanders.
There's nobody in the world that has Clemson attire and South Carolina Gamecock attire in the same closet. That doesn't exist. There are married couples that don't have that in their. Like one is a Clemson fan, one is a South Carolina fan. They don't have that in the same closet. I keep it in a drawer. Like your back has got to be like that would make my skin crawl. There was a moment of time where I was accused of having a garnet shirt on. I threw that thing in the trash. I said, you never saw me wear it ever again. So I don't know how you get away with this. This is sacrilege, and I won't have it anymore, Eddy Kool. This would be I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. I just go ahead and Amtrak. We'll get to this.
Go Gamecocks! Go Gamecocks!
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I got sidetracked.
What the hell? It was that.
This is our year.
Sandstorm.
This is our year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay. All the Gamecocks did was they made a TikTok video that went viral, and they put a bunch of lights in their stadium. I'm just waiting to see their actual schedule come out to see how many night games they have, so they can put on this amazing light show to be a mediocre team. But I'm sorry.
Hey man,
it's hilarious to me.
We gotta be happy about something.
Man, y'all got viral TikTok videos and light shows. That's exactly what wins football.
Listen, I represented all three bros tonight. I represent all three of us.
Yeah, you did.
It just shows how much I care about my bros.
No, I never asked for that.
With that in mind, Eddy Kool,
don't
you'll go first.
Yeah, but with that being said, I'll go first, all right? On this day in history, back in 1905, Ty Cobb made his debut, Major League Baseball debut, and he got a double off of Jack Chesborough in a 5-3 win over the New York Highlanders at Bennett Park in Detroit. Ty Cobb, his first of many hits, back on this day in 1905. Over to you, Scottie D.
Ty Cobb probably be rolling over in his grave when he sees this next mess that's going on. That's right. I'm talking about the Yankees. I'm talking about Aroldis Chapman. This dude is going on the 15-day injured list because he got a tattoo that got infected on his leg. And it's so bad that he might even have to go to the hospital. He had to miss games because he got a tattoo on his leg that got infected. Yeah, I said that, and that's true. That's what happened. Now, I don't have a tattoo. I don't know if you guys have. I think, B-Live, didn't you get a tattoo of like your manager's face on your butt or something?
I did. I absolutely did not. I did lose a bet, but it's a spider. It's a spider okay. On my right there. I don't know if you can see it. But I lost some fancy football. I was dead last in one league. Not the league that matters, but I was dead last in this league, so I got a tattoo. Paul Odom, you lost last year. You got to get the tattoo. I said what I said. Just because the league is no more, you were still obligated to get a tattoo. Yes, I said it on the air.
And now back to our regularly scheduled program. So Aroldis Chapman gets a tattoo during the season. God. Now, I've never had a tattoo, but they do get irritated, not usually infected, but it can happen. You know, when you don't get a tattoo, you don't get any infection from a tattoo just by not doing it. I can't understand for the life of me why he chose during the season, a bad season in which his ERA is over 4. He's been on the injured list himself, missing 35 games earlier in the season. He's getting roughed up. His fastball is not having the speed and movement it used to. He's all over the place. And yet now in the stretch run when the Yankees are struggling, this guy got to go take a seat for 15 days because he got a tattoo that got infected. Do better. Be live. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Next.
Hey,
tattoos and ringworms. Ain't that something?
I was about to say, I was like, I think Scottie D wants him to use that spray that Fernando Tatis. He can get an 80 game ban. What are you thinking, bro? Yeah. A tattoo? Oh, boy. All right. Well, what I'm going to do, because we had so much to cover during the top of the order with NFL, I'm going to bring in college football the way I know how to. But in lieu of the Be Live top 5, I'm actually going, because I just haven't, I don't know how teams have improved. I follow briefly what my Tigers do, but there's a lot of camps, a lot of things going on that we preseason polls rarely ever really matter. They do sometimes, but we're going to talk about 5 games that I'll be paying attention to this weekend. And I'm going to start off with 2 that nobody else cares about. And here he comes with the shirt. He switched over. He must have known that I was going to talk about it, because one game I will be paying attention to that nobody cares about, except for these people that are in like a 70 minute distance, 70-mile distance between each other. Yes, I'm talking about the
backyard
brawl. 10 years removed from the Big East, we've got West Virginia versus Pittsburgh, and I'm here for it. There's a lot of bad blood. I'm going to get that shirt that says Sweet Caroline on the front, and on the back it says Eat Pit. Middle word could be, is the equivalent of cow excrement, or just excrement, period. But man, Pitt does lead the series 61-40, 61 wins, 40 losses, 3 ties. West Virginia has won the last 3 since when both teams were in the Big East Conference in 2011. West Virginia went to the Big 12 in 2012. Pittsburgh joined the ACC in 2013. Another game that I'm going to be paying attention to that nobody really cares about, because these are 2 teams that have been going in the wrong direction since they've achieved the greatest trophy there is when it comes to college football, and that's the national championship. They get to face each other this week to see who could actually revive their program and who's still going in the wrong direction. You've got the Seminoles of Florida State going against the Tigers of LSU. Both teams are a shell of their former selves since they've won the national title. They are taking on new coaches since then. We shall see who will win the battle of mediocrity between Florida State and LSU. Eddy Kool, the ball.
You gotta love college football. Rivalry games, some played early, some played in the middle of the season, some played at the end of the season. All right, speaking of calling it a day, fellas, you remember former Seattle Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin?
Yes, sir.
Yep, you remember him. Well, Shaquem Griffin, he retires from the NFL at the age of 27, and he joins the NFL Legends program. As I'm looking at the stuff here, he said Plan A was to go to college, according to Yahoo. Plan A was to go to college, get an education, and do something that would make a positive impact in the world. Griffin played at the University of Central Florida and was drafted in the 5th round by the Seattle Seahawks back in 2018. And then an event further spurred his decision to hang up Plan B, which was football. Was a conversation with Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, and asked Griffin about joining the league's Legends program, which is a group of retired players who mentor current players and discuss how to make an impact beyond the field. Griffin said, honestly, it's a little surreal. After everything I've been through in my life, all the hard work, all the doubters, it's almost unthinkable that I'm hanging it up and moving on from the game of football. In case you don't remember who Shaquem Griffin is, he was I think he's the first player to ever play in the NFL, and he didn't have a hand. He was missing a hand, but he was able to land a job and was able to do it for about a good 5 or 6 years, and now he's a member of the NFL Legends program. So happy retirement to Shaquem Griffin at the tender age of 27. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, man, I saw that story. That's excellent. And that was really one of those warm moments the year he got drafted, and I think Seattle took him to go up and play with his brother, and that was really a cool day that happened. So, the man made it. Yep. Speaking of the NFL and people who have made it, now years ago, I was a manager at a sports bar in South Carolina, Overtime Sports Cafe. Legendary place. And one night, probably I'd say around 2006, 7, somewhere in that area, a guy come up to me and he said, hey, I bet it's not every day that you get an NFL Super Bowl MVP in this place, is it? And I said, that's pretty true. He said, well, you have one here tonight. And I said, who's here? And he said, do you know who the MVP was of Super Bowl IV? And I said, yes, I do. And I think I surprised the guy because I did know that it was Len Dawson of the Kansas City Chiefs. And he said, Len Dawson is here with a group of guys, and we all come in here about once a year and on a golf outing. We're in Myrtle Beach for a golf outing. We want to come in here and watch a little sports. This actually took place during March Madness. It was during the NCAA tournament. And he said, I said, well, do you think he'd mind meeting me? He said, no, come over. I'll introduce you. So I went over and I visited with Len Dawson for a few minutes. At the time, he was doing color commentary on the local station in Kansas City for the Chiefs. He wasn't directly employed by the organization, but he was still working with the Chiefs pretty much. And it was a very nice guy. He spent just a couple minutes time with me, and he allowed me to take a picture with him, a snapshot that he would never remember, but I always did, because he's the only Super Bowl MVP that I've ever met and spent time with and took a picture. And Len Dawson passed away last week at age 87. But I just want to say something really nice about him, because Kansas City loved this man because he was a legend there, and he did a lot for the community in that area, and he was just a local icon out in Kansas City. And I know he'll be very missed in that area of the country. But I thought it was really cool that the guy spent just a couple minutes. He was very gracious, very nice, and I'll never forget meeting Len Dawson. So rest in peace, Mr. Dawson. It was a pleasure meeting you, and your legend will live on in Kansas City. Live, over to you.
That's incredible, definitely heartfelt, and prayers for his family. But he lived a full life, and that is
Hall of Fame.
Quite a story. All right. Let's kick it back into gear with some more college football, because there's 3 games that everybody should be watching this weekend. Because, man, oh, man. First one I want to mention is number 23, Cincinnati versus number 19, Arkansas. Why this game? Why is this game so important? We want to see if Cincinnati can be a legit a power in the big leagues, because Cincinnati will be joining the Big 12, I believe, next year in 2023. And so if Cincinnati can start off this season with a signature SEC win, that would go leaps and bounds for when the Big 12 tries to get new TV deals and everything like that by adding a football. I won't say a tradition, but hey, Cincinnati's they made it to the playoff last year. Let's see what Cincinnati is without Desmond Ridder this year. Can they stay atop of the game, or can Arkansas, that's always been just on the outside looking in? Arkansas has played good football. They just haven't made it to that next step of your Georgia, your Alabamas, your LSUs, your Floridas that have won national championships. They've been always in the cusp, one game short. They need to start off this strong right here, right now, with a signature win against Cincinnati. Second game that has piqued everybody's interest, of course, number 11 Oregon versus the reigning, defending, undisputed national champion Georgia Bulldogs, ranked at number 3. My one question is this: will the Pac-12 or 10, whatever, be irrelevant this year as they have been recently? They've only put a team in the playoff twice since the playoff has been in effect, and this right here is a make or break. If Oregon loses this game, we're not watching West Coast football, just to be honest. You may turn it on for Lincoln Riley and Southern Cal, but that's about as much as we really care about football over on the West Coast. So Oregon, this could be a signature win, or this could be the irrelevant Pac-12-10, as we know. But you know the elephant in the room. Number 5, Notre Dame versus number 2, Ohio State. It's the elephant in the room. Whoever wins this has a front row ticket to the playoffs. Can Notre Dame shake off that overrated feeling that they've gotten for years upon decades? Or does Ohio State keep still doing Ohio State things, shake off the dust from last year losing to Michigan, and be the front runner to make it into the playoff? We shall see. Week 1 college football coming at you. Eddy Kool, the ball.
All right. my third and final pepper point, while B-Live is talking about college football, I'm going to talk a little bit about high school football, especially up here in the Northeast Ohio area, particularly Lorain County. Fellas, when I say this is like running back territory, this is like running back territory. All right, so I'm going to tell you a few notable performances that I've seen or read about within the last week. All right, week 2. Jacarian Caffey for the Avon Eagles, right? He ran for 282 yards on 24 carries, 2 touchdowns, right? Next up, Marco Sirigliano from Columbia.
Oh, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, I try to say that on live radio. I butchered the poor boy's name. I feel so bad about it. When I interviewed him a few days ago, I said, Marco, I am sorry. It's Sirigliano, sir. I'm going to have to do like how you write it out, like how it sounds like. That's what I have to do moving forward. So anyways, Marco is a dog. Marco is a beast. He put on some weight this summer. And according to my notes, he had 25 carries and 232 yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. All right, and a kid that's really come out of nowhere by the name of Zach Barnhart for the North Ridgeville Rangers. He had 170 yards on 33 carries and 2 touchdowns. Matter of fact, his second touchdown came within 40 seconds in the fourth quarter to give his team the win. And Zach Barnhart, he's only a freshman. Wow. And the week before that, he had like 150. He just like burst on the scene. So, yeah, high school football is in full effect. And I got a front row seat right at WOBL WDLW Radio.
Do your thing.
Do my thing, as I shall. Over to you, Scottie D.
Well, high school football is part of why I always say that these 10 weeks are the best time of year. March is my favorite month because you're coming out of the winter. Things are starting to heat back up, and March Madness, you got basketball on all the time. But I love this 10-week period from going from August into September and through October, whenever you got high school football. The NFL is just getting ready to get started in another 2 weeks here. College football is already beginning. And the final stretch of the Major League Baseball season, when these games really start ramping up. And as I look at the standings here, the Dodgers have just run away and hid. They are like 19 and a half games ahead of San Diego, whose record is good. They're 70-59. But the Dodgers have a .698 winning percentage. The Braves, your Braves are playing well, but they have the third best record in the National League. Unfortunately, the second best is the Mets, who are just ahead of them. But that still is going to be decided in this last month. That door is still wide open. The Cardinals have really overtaken the Brewers. And here's an interesting one, guys. The Braves right now lead the first wild card. Philly's got the second one. San Diego and Milwaukee are vying for that third and final one. And it's kind of interesting because they had a very compelling trade at the deadline in which the Brewers sent their closer, Josh Hader, to the Padres. And since then, his ERA is over 20. It's like a 23 ERA. Hader can't get anybody out anymore. He's not the closer. He gave up 6 runs in a third of an inning the other day. He is a mess. He is a broken mess. And the Padres, seemingly at the time we thought they had the steal of the trade deadline. So it's going to be interesting to see if is something wrong with Hader's arm or is it his head? What is going on with Hader? Because he was seemingly a big piece to the Padres' postseason hopes. Surprisingly
sabotage.
Yeah, really. They must have known something because he has been just out of it ever since the trade. The Astros are way ahead in the American League. The Yankees are going to win their division, and Henderson Bully's boys, the Cleveland Guardians, find themselves leading the Central. That leaves Tampa Bay, Seattle in the wild card mix, and Toronto only a game and a half. Toronto, who I picked to go to the World Series, they're hanging on by a thread for the final wild card spot over Baltimore. So congratulations to the Orioles for being relevant again. Boy, as a Pirate fan, I wish that we could have that. We had a guy last week, O'Neal Cruz, the tall shortstop. He hit a ball 122 miles an hour off the fence for a single and everyone's celebrating. Everyone's ready to have a parade because he hit a ball that hard. Big whoop. He's batting he's batting under 200 right now. Anyway, just want to give you guys a quick baseball wrap up because we are going into a very important month when it comes to baseball. I love this time of year for baseball. Every game matters. Be Live. Over to you.
Get it together, O'Neal Cruz. Get it together.
Oh man. My third and final pepper point has absolutely nothing to do with college football. I'm going to wrap up with a baseball story as well. You know how my third and final pepper points go. And it's not going to feature your top teams in the NL or the AL. It's not going to feature your wild card races and everything. It's going to be the exact opposite. Because it does involve two balls and a bat and some other things. Calling out signs and et cetera, not really. But during an Oakland A's home game, I guess the baseball game was not that interesting to this couple, thinking that nobody was around them in the stands. There were really not too many fans. There were no fans in this particular area in the field, in the stadium. So this young lady decided to mishandle her partner's bat and two balls in the stands during a live game, like there's no cameras around. And in closing,
take me out to the ball.
There is currently under investigation where the couple could face a fine up to $1,000 and 6 months in jail.
Oh,
come on!
They should be excused for being exposed to the Oakland A's. That's what they should be. They should get off for that.
That is punishment enough, but come on now. I'd almost understand if it was nighttime, even though the lights are out there and everything. But this is broad daylight, and you can just see
a 2:00 day game, just light. Just
you can just come on now. You got to do better. Yeah. If anything, at least just go to the dirty restroom or something. It is in the stands. Y'all just don't even care.
Yeah,
that's how bad the product on the field is right now in Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland A's. Wow. Yeah. That's about it.
They say that the Oakland Alameda County Stadium is just. It's a dump. It's a.
You have to find other ways to entertain yourself because the stadium sucks and the team sucks.
And that's bad.
And that's probably, I'd say, good enough for this show at this point.
Thanks for playing.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Be Live.
Thank you for listening.
Not a problem.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. So did not see that ending happening, but we here now. All right. And with that being said,
by now.
And with that being said, and in closing, do something nice for yourself. If you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden, because who wants a burden in their life? Be good to each other. Love each other. Take care. Drink water. If you pass gas, say excuse me. Just be a good person. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
Sweet.
Eat it. Eat it.
Be Live, get it, take us home.
Yes, sir.
It's our year.
Oh yeah, just to let y'all know, see y'all after Labor Day, and We will be airing on Tuesday. As of week 1 of the NFL season, the Sports Bros podcast will be moving to Tuesday. So take care of yourself.
Recording on Tuesdays, publishing on Wednesdays.
Yep, that's what we do it. So Tuesday after next, don't be looking for us. Just look for us that Wednesday. Y'all take care. Love y'all. Bye.
See us on TikTok.
TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Show us some love. All right, we going for real. Bye. Hey, it's Eddy Kool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.